We don't ring bells on Fridays very often unless somehow a team that we follow wins something. I think the Indiana Pacers won a trade yesterday in a big way and in a way that could lead this team to a championship. The final grade for this trade is not going to be known until May 10th. That's the day of the NBA draft lottery. On that day, we're going to find out. The referendum will be in. Is this a great trade or merely a good trade? The Pacers, they sent Benedict Mathurin and Isaiah Jackson for Ivica Zubac. That Zubac, a top 10 center in the NBA, a big guy, 7 feet, not bulky, athletic, muscled, is a guy who's going to be a willing defender in the post. That's what he is, and a guy who scores around the bucket, doesn't take shots outside of 10 feet, not a stretch five, not one of these modern centers that everybody crows about and nobody ever wins with. So I love this trade just there. But then what they had to give up in order to get Zubac, they gave up the first round pick in 2026, the first round pick in 2029. But the pick in 2026 is protected 1 through 4 and 10 through 30. So if that pick falls 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it conveys to the Clippers. If it falls 1, 2, 3, 4, or 10 and thereafter, it remains the Pacers pick, and then the Clippers get the Pacers' unprotected pick in 2031. I don't care about 2031. I know there are a lot of people out there that care about 2031. I'm not one of them. 2031 is a long time away. That's more than 5 years off. It's going to come soon enough. I don't know how many of us are still going to be here or whether the NBA is going to be here in 2031. But if we got to give up a 231 pick in order to get Zubac to fill up the middle with Tyrese Halliburton, Nembhard, Siakam, and Nesmith, with the bench they've got, Toppin, McConnell, I'm all good with that. That sounds great to me. Really good with it. If they get to keep that 26 pick, if in the draft lottery they get that a 1 through 3, all right, 4 they still keep. But if it's 1 through 3 and you have a choice, somehow one of these 3, if you win the lottery, you've got a choice of Debonsa, Boozer, Peterson, and I'd take them in that order. I know Peterson's got all kinds of potential. I'm not drafting potential because what happens with potential? Markelle Fultz had lots of potential. You know what I mean? I'm not dealing in that. I'm dealing in productivity. And productivity-wise, Peterson's missed 10 games because of cramps in an ankle. All right, I don't want a part-time guy. I don't want somebody who's not wired in to find a way to play every single night that he can find a way to play. You know what I mean? Your team is scheduled to play. You show up and you get ready to play. That doesn't seem like what Peterson does. Maybe he does. Maybe he straight couldn't play. I don't know. Got to watch a guy a little bit more. Debonsa, I've seen a bunch. I love A.J. Debonsa. Boozer, but as far as productivity as a rookie, I am all in behind Boozer. Boozer can straight play in the NBA today. Love it. The 4th and 5th guys, I haven't even looked. Because I know that the Pacers are going to win this lottery. And by win this lottery, I mean 1 through 3. All right? Now, what we have to understand about the draft lottery is this. And we'll get to that in just a minute. This is Breakfast with Kent for February 6th, Friday, February 6th, 2026, brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry. People are just calling Julie at Today's Dentistry just to talk to her. Make an appointment, people. 317-849-2933. Ask for Julie. Tell her that Kent told you to call. Dr. Mike O'Neill's the best dentist in the world. That's the point. It's not that Julie's like the nicest person in the world and a great talk to on the phone. It's that Dr. Mike O'Neill's the best that there is where it comes to the art and science of dentistry. Again, 317-849-2933. You got a hole in your mouth, he's got a hole in his schedule. Become a member today. We got the next Coffee with Kent tomorrow. Members only, 9 o'clock answering all questions, taking all comers, asking questions, getting answers from you. It's a chat about sports, and I can't wait for you to join us. So become a member, become a subscriber. And you're eligible to win a prize. The prize that we're going to give away next week is going to be delivered today, according to FedEx, from the Priority Sports auction people. And we don't know what it's going to be. It's an autographed jersey. It could be Peyton Manning. It could be Patrick Mahomes. It could be Pete Rose. It could be Sammy Sosa. It could be Fergie Jenkins. If it's Fergie, I'm keeping it. We will, if I get the package by the time we do Inside Indiana Sports now this afternoon, we will open the box live and see exactly who it is all together. I can't wait to do. I love that. It's like Christmas when those boxes show up, and you can win the contents of the box. You've got to be a subscriber, though, so hit that join button and use the phrase that pays. And the phrase that pays today is, congrats, Kevin. Kevin Pritchard did great work with this trade. Smash that like button. And if you want to make a donation, no big whoop. But please include a comment or a question that elevates the level of discourse on this channel. Charles has done just that. My opinion, he says, Kent, is that we haven't had a center this solid since Hibbert or O'Neal. We need the pick 1 through 4. Hallie, Nemby, Nesmith, Siakam, Zubac, TJ, AJ, Walker, Obi, Huff. That's a good group. I think that you get DeBonsa or you get Boozer. And this is the favorite next year to go to the NBA Finals. Favorite to win the Eastern Conference. Now, in order to do that, you got to do well in the draft lottery. And in order to do that, you must tank. You must lose like it's your job. Right now, the Pacers, they have 13 wins. And you got to land in the top 3. To land in the top 3, you got to lose a bunch of games. So they are right now the third worst team in the NBA. That gives them a 52% chance of landing in the top 4 if they remain in the top 3, bottom 3 of the NBA standings. Coin flip to stay in the top 4, basically. Along with them, you have the Kings, you have the Pels, and those two are beneath the Pacers right now. Washington, the Nets, just above. The Pacers, they've got 2 games at Brooklyn. They've got 2 games at Washington. They have no games left against the Pelicans, and they have 1 at Sacramento. They play none of the remaining or the teams that are fighting with the Pacers in that cluster of the bottom 5. None of them at home. That's a good thing. That's got to make it easier to tank, doesn't it? What you hope is that you find a way to miss every damn shot you take. The 2 games that come immediately after the All-Star break at Washington could wind up being 23-21 games. Nobody's going to make a shot, for God's sake. Nobody's trying. Pacers could go out there blindfolded. Could wind up with a home game where they give away chances to play point guard for 48 minutes for the Pacers. I wouldn't make it for 48 minutes, but I can give you 6 to 8 good competitive possessions at point guard. Just saying. All right, Kevin, you got my number. Call me. I'm in. You got to give me number 11, though. Can you give me number 11? If they are 26th or better after this stretch, fire everybody. You cannot win. Rick Carlisle has to drop the dumbest damn offense, the dumbest defense, and the worst inbounds plays in the history of the NBA. Everybody stand in the same spot as the ball's being inbounded. Nobody moves. And if somehow a Pacer catches it, hold on to the ball in the backcourt until the 8-second call is made. Let's go, right? Barstow Media says, I don't know much about Zubac, but how does he compare with Rick Smits? He's not as good a distance shooter like Rick Smits had legitimate mid-range game, and he was 7'4". So in those 2 ways, does not compare positively. But around the bucket, he's very clever. He is an underrated passer. He is a good defender, maybe a little bit better than good defender. Not a defensive player of the year level defender, but he was second team. I believe he was second team All NBA defensive team last year. 16 and 12. And with Halliburton running the pick and roll with Zubac, I think that 16 is going to elevate. You saw what happened with Miles Turner when Halliburton was paired with him. All of a sudden, Turner, instead of scoring 12 to 14 a game, was 16 to 20. So I think that is what we can expect. Now, if the Pacers are 26th or 27th in the NBA, so what is that? Fifth worst or sixth worst? No, fourth worst or fifth worst. They have a 45% chance of landing in the top four. So if they're fourth or fifth, 45% chance. If they are 1 through 3, they have a 52% chance. So that's kind of where it lands. Now, one thing that's really, really interesting about this is if the Pacers finish 10th, I think it's 10th. So 10th worst. So what's that, 21st, 20th, 21st, one of those two. They block out the window where the Clippers could get their pick. They keep 1 through 4 open. Not a great chance to get 1 through 4 at that point if you're 10th worst. And then they cannot have the 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th or 9th pick. They could have 10 through 14. So that's a sweet spot down the road that we even want to think of the Pacers occupying, because we want 1 through 3, right? But it would be kind of interesting. That window 5 through 9 syncs perfectly if they finish with the 10th worst record. Grades from other outlets. I'm giving this an A. And I'm giving it a B plus if they need to convey the 26th pick to the Clippers. I'm giving it an A plus if that pick remains with the Pacers. Because if all you give up is Mathurin, who wasn't going to be here, Jackson, who, let's face it, and then the 29 and 31 unprotected picks, when Halliburton is still going to be prime Halliburton, you hope, given good health, you know what? This is still going to be a good enough team that those picks, you're talking about getting a Goga Batadze, Aaron Holiday, that kind of pick. Isaiah Jackson out of that. I love this. JD's takes. He's a all-meal deal member for 5 months. One of the originals. Thank you so much. I wasn't so sure yesterday about this trade. I like it more today, but boy, I hope this draft pans out the way we need it to. I'm really, and I'm glad, JD, but I got to tell you the truth. I don't understand the way fans have reacted to this trade. Like it's heresy somehow. Like people don't understand what is going on here. How did they make this trade? By the way, see the ticker in back? Like it reads backwards, but I've spelled everything so it will read for you forwards, kind of, and it's a countdown. Only 31 losses to go. That's how many games are left as the Pacers, as they continue to pile up losses, that number is going to tick down. But I had to, because everything's backwards, you can see it on this banner, I had to spell it all backwards and use an E, a capital E, instead of the 3 to get the 31 looking correct. That's clever, kind of, barely. Pat McAfee spent hours after his show yesterday on ESPN and then YouTube. From noon to 3 is on YouTube. Noon to 2, that show is on ESPN. Spent hours after his show talking to kids who are content creators. So a bunch of kids wanted to talk to him and get on-camera stuff. And so Pat took the time to do that and also schooled them up a little bit about creating content and how you do that. And he's doing it the right way. He owns his show. Don't give up ownership ever. And what he does it his way. He has built his show to showcase the glory of Pat McAfee. And that's how you got to do it. That's what Pat does. Pat builds the show, or not the glory, but the fun. It's got to be fun for the host. If it's not fun for the host, you can smell it. If you see a guy on camera on YouTube, and he's kind of like, well, I think that I think the Pacers made an okay trade. I don't know. It all depends on May 10th, and it depends on the pay. That's not fun. That's not a guy having fun. If you don't have fun doing it, it is not going to work for you. So have fun. McAfee surrounds himself with his guys, Connor and those guys, asks questions that he gives a damn about. He is really, really good at what he does, and he is the guy to emulate. I just seen Ben's contribution last finals. He had some really great games and made some great plays. That's the reason I was a bit indifferent about the trade. I don't know this Zubac guy. Zubac is really, really good. Zubac is an unheralded good. All right. Mathurin had really good games during the finals. He did. And the Pacers don't make the finals without Benedict Mathurin. But he was at a level of contract where you could keep him while paying Halliburton and Siakam huge dollars, right? That doesn't exist anymore. That's not a thing. So that's the way I view this. He was gone anyway. So you may as well get something for him, and they got something for him. Kent, would you trade the first overall pick for a proven player? The Pacers like 1 through 4. No, I would not. I would not trade I would not trade AJ DeBonsa for anyone in the league. Not anyone. He may be the next guy. Peterson may be the next guy too. Fulton says, Ken, I need prayers for my big basketball tournament. Hamilton County Special Olympics. Hey, Fulton, we're all behind you. Absolutely. Prayers with you. The other worst teams need to start winning some games to give the Pacers a better shot at number one, which means that when the Pacers play the Nets and the Kings and the Wizards, Pacers can't win those games. No winning those games. Don't even think about it. Ball goes in the hoop, you're coming out of the game. You stand in front of your guy defensively, you're coming out. What are you, out of your mind? Carlisle's going to have a conniption. What in the hell are you doing? For God's sake. What, Naismith, did you just steal the basketball from an opponent? Sit your ass down. That's what we've got to look forward to. You're right about that. I'll have to watch some Clippers tape. He's really good. You'll like him. And people who think that he's just a slow plotting guy, that was the Clippers offense. I don't think he's slow in plotting. Now, he's not a sprinter. He's not going to win the 100-meter dash in the Summer Olympics in 28, but he's a guy who he can get up and down the court. I'm not worried about that. He's 28 years old, going to be 29 next month. No big deal. McAfee does it right, is the point about media. Roger Craig, a senior who absolutely belongs in the Hall of Fame. This guy changed the running back position and went to the playoffs every single season of his 11-year career. He was really, really good. One of the reasons, granted, they had Montana, they had Young, they had Rice, they had Taylor, they had guys. Charles Haley, a lot of guys. Really good players. Ronnie Lott, for God's sake. Roger Craig was a huge piece of the puzzle for the team of the 80s, which I'm ashamed to say. I wish I could say it was the Chicago Bears. It wasn't. It was the San Francisco 49ers. Adam Vinatieri, best kicker in the history of the league, a Colt for the majority of his career. Good to have another Colt going in. Mike Chappell presented him. Congrats to Mike for getting another Colt into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That's awesome. Larry Fitzgerald, longtime wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals, and Luke Kuechly, who was a defensive stalwart for the Carolina Panthers. Congratulations to all. No Reggie Wayne. Shame. Hate to see that Reggie got passed over again. No Kenny Anderson, too. No L.C. Greenwood. Obviously, no Bill Belichick. No Robert Kraft. Good and good. Let's celebrate some birthdays, shall we? Mark Miner, happy birthday. Ted Dudine, happy birthday. Jeff Jordan. Brenda Taylor, the great Brenda Taylor. Jolene Ketzenberger. Michael Dyer. Angie Stepro Miller Least, who I used to race at the roller rink. Angie Stepro and I she was great. Loved Angie. Andy Kaplan, happy birthday. Kelly Owens, Cam Cameron, the great Cam Cameron, celebrating a birthday. I'm ashamed to say he's the only former Indiana University football coach that I'm friends with on Facebook. Sadly, Kurt Signetti is not on Facebook. Barry Smither, celebrating a birthday too. If today's your birthday, you celebrate like hell. If it's not your birthday, You celebrate somebody else. That's best done with an honest and specific compliment. Great going, Kevin. That's a phrase that pays. Congrats, Kevin. Go IU. That works too. Get Robert Matheson. It would be great if he does. He's the all-time leader, the record holder in forced fumbles. So he's got that going for him. Great going, Kevin Pritchard. This is a hell of a trade. And if you wind up with a top 4 pick in the 2026 draft, you're a genius. And I think you're gonna. I got a good feeling about this trade. I think the Pacers, finally, Lady Luck is ready to smile down on the Indiana Pacers.